Well, we'll flash it back. 5th-ranked LSU went into Gainesville this time last year, 5-0 record. But the Gators would score all their points after the first quarter, including a pick six by Brad Stewart Jr. helped seal the deal for the Gators. 36 seconds left in that game. Florida won 27-19. With Florida DC Todd Grantham jumping around like crazy in that one. That'll be next in line for this LSU team. Be the first time Florida's been here since that goal line stand by the Gators. Jim McElwain was running the show for Florida at the time. You know, it's so different when you start to see the numbers between Florida and LSU. But you just watch Joe Burrow. This time a year ago, you know, against the Gators, he was 19 of 34, 192, couple of picks. It is a completely different guy in this offense.
Yeah, I mean, just when you talk to him, the calmness he has about this offense and what he feels at the line of scrimmage is he has full authority at the line of scrimmage to do whatever he wants to get him in a good play.
It's Moss with it, who drives inside the 10. Coach O yesterday, though, said he has full authority if I like it.
Yeah. It all goes back to the head, man. Yeah, he can do what he wants if I like it. That was funny.
Not much there for Ty Davis-Price. He'll actually lose a couple of yards.
What you can see, Joe is completely in command at all times of this offense. And he said he knew back in the spring this offense could be special. Coach O said it was a scrimmage right before the spring game where the offense completed 80% of his passes, where he knew this offense could do some things they're doing now.
Burrow, pass caught by Moss. Touchdown pass number 5 goes to Thaddeus Moss. The first touchdown catch for Thaddeus Moss.
Good inside slant here. Burrow put this ball on his chest. Look at the perfect thrown football, giving his receiver tight end a chance to get in the end zone. And you got a big tight end like Thaddeus Moss. He's going to make guys miss and bounce off.
Steve Ensminger, the offensive coordinator, told us they were going to try to find the tight ends a little bit more. That is what they've done. Moss has 5 catches on the day. Came in with just 3 all season.
All right, we're going 4 downs here with Coach O. You ready?
Ready to go.
Rapid fire. Favorite artist or song?
Jambalaya crawfish pie, Hank Williams.
Hank Williams, I like it. Okay. Best place to eat in Baton Rouge?
Mike Anderson's.
Ooh, okay. All right, 3rd down. Here we go. Craziest thing you had to do to motivate your team before pregame?
Had to punch myself in the jaw.
Punch yourself in the jaw, and what happened?
Yeah, woke him up.
All right. Last thing. Your wife says she let you drive the car for church.
Yeah.
What's the one chore Coach O has to do at home?
Pay the bills.
All right, that was 4 downs with Coach O.
Yeah, I was.
That happens in a lot of houses right now.
Gotta pay the bills. I think
Gotta
he can
pay the
handle,
bills.
I think he can handle that.
Yeah, no, I think he's doing pretty well.
But, you know, there was a great article in The Athletic this week about some of the motivation techniques that he uses and has used, whether he was here at LSU or at Southern Cal. And the one thing they kept coming back to is he hits himself in the jaw with some pretty good force.
Knocked his tooth out one time, right? They say he knocked his tooth out and just kept going. I don't know how you don't get fired up after your head coach knocks his tooth out in pregame. That is, they say it's legendary, some of the stuff he's done. Throwing chairs, I mean, he's, whatever it takes to get him motivated.
A little different than Mark Ricks, right, at Georgia?
Yeah, we didn't throw many chairs.
Gain of 3. Love. Pass will be complete, but they'll lose some yardage on that one. Enoch Nawahi. That'll be a loss of some more yards. There's been too many of those negative plays today. Matter of fact, there have been 8 tackles for loss. Patrick Queen has 3 of those TFLs today for LSU, but Vincent is down. Vincent with an interception today. Queen's had a nice game. We've called his name out quite a bit, and he's been played sideline to sideline. Well, we got a second. Let's get it to the studio. Peter Burns, what's up?
All right, Dave Neal, we are just about an hour, 15 minutes away from the Missouri Tigers taking the field again after a bye week. Remember, they were 1-5 back in 2017. They make a bowl game, 17-7 since then. They'll be facing off Troy, a team LSU fans know a little something about from a couple years ago.
Yeah, Troy's one of those dangerous teams. Watch out for Troy.
Yeah, sneaky. Got some really good players at Troy. I mean, they recruit really well at Troy, and they match up well with a lot of these Power 5 teams. So it's Missouri has to be on high alert.
So the staff still attending to Vincent. We'll step aside as well. Back in a moment.
SEC Network Football is presented by Allstate, reminding you that football season is mayhem.
Well, LSU just opened up their brand new nutrition center this summer, and with that came the hiring of executive chef Michael Johnson. He decided to start a new tradition this week. Every Thursday night prior to home games, they honor a senior football player with what he calls a taste of home dinner. This week it was Brayden Fahoko from Hawaii. Chef called his mom Linda, got his favorite recipes, put together a Polynesian style meal, and yes, that included a full pig wrapped in banana leaves, smoked for over 12 hours. Chef told me he was up at 3 a.m. to get that going. He said just a really cool way to bring home here for these athletes, and it was a big hit. So coming up next week, guys, Joe Burrow's night, a little Midwestern style. Joe told us you can expect maybe some pot roast, some garlic mashed potatoes. I think a little bit easier preparation for Michael Johnson next week.
That looks like some good food. I'll have to come back next week.
Yeah.
Throwing up, and that one might be intercepted. Did Delpit hang on? He did. What an interception.
Maybe the last guy you want to throw a football up to put up the bat. He is a ball-hawking safety here. The way he goes about getting this football, and that's why he's considered one of the best in the country at his position. But watch him at the highest point here. Fight off the receiver, and look at the hamstring to hold on to this football as he is trying to rip it out of his hands. And that's why many experts believe Grant Delpit would be a first-round pick next year.
His first interception of the season for Grant Delpit, the junior out of Houston, Texas, the All-American a year ago. Having some clock issues here. Clock says 8:19, but there's over 12 minutes to go in the quarter. Based on how hot it is, I don't necessarily think that many people would mind the clock running. Gary Anderson saw something that he didn't like. So he will challenge this, and we'll take another look as well.
It looks like he has complete control of the football there. See what happens as he hits the ground. Look at that ball might have moved. And does he control possession all the way to the ground is the question. You can see he has it there, but from the other angle you can see looks like that ball was kind of hit loose as he went to the ground.
Yeah, my question is, did he have enough for possession before the ball? Did he secure it enough? Did he take enough steps? And with that, good thing we have Matt Austin with us, our rules expert. Matt, what do you make of this one?
Well, Dave and DJ, I agree with you. He had the ball above his head, but as he was going to the ground, it did look like the ball might have come loose and hit the ground between he and the offensive player. I'm not sure there's indisputable evidence, though, to overturn. So this is going to be an interesting one to see what the replay official sees.
And, Matt, from what you saw there, he is like a receiver. He has to continue the catch all the way through the ground, correct?
That is correct. He has to control it all the way in. So you could make the case that he was an upright receiver, and then going to the ground, he doesn't have to, but you have to make sure that he does have firm control of that ball in the air, which I don't think he does. And right there's a great view. I think it definitely hit the ground.
Absolutely.
So I would not be surprised if they overturned this call.
All right, well, we'll wait.
Review,
Thank you, Matt.
The ruling on the field stands of an interception. Utah State has a timeout taken and has no challenges remaining in the game.
So the play stands, not enough to overturn it based on
it
the
looks
video
like,
evidence.
Looks like this ball clearly is the ground. It moves there. You can see it didn't seem like he had his hand under it at all, but they saw enough to make the call stand on the field.
So there's 12:28 on the game clock. Miles Brennan in at quarterback. Chris Curry in at running back here in the fourth quarter. So Joe Burrow's day is done. Curry with the carry picks up 6. So Burrow finishes up 27 of 38, another 300-yard game.
Another
that is
20
4
completion
straight
game.
300-yard games, which is now an LSU record. He's adding on to his completion records of 20 or more completions, which is up to 8 straight. Good run by Curry. Now LSU also, they came into this game scoring the most points in SEC history through 4 games. They needed 41 to hold the record for most points through 5 games, and they have done that. Still chasing their season average, though, which is at 57.8 points per contest.
They're just slacking right now, man. They haven't got to 57. Tough sledding for this offense today, right?
It's it's crazy when you start looking at these numbers. They're going to get over 600 yards of offense again, but 55 against Georgia Southern. They put up 45 in that thrilling win over Texas, 65 versus Northwestern State, 66 against Vanderbilt. Joe Burrow has 11 touchdown passes in the last 2 games. This may be the most complete game LSU has played all year when you factor in what they've done defensively against a pretty good offense here at Utah State. Brennan's pass is caught over the middle. That'll be a first down at the 42-yard line. A pickup of 11 to Racy McMath. 272 points through 5 games. Steve Insminger, Joe Brady on the right side there. Those two have meshed, using the word from Coach Ogeron, very well. And Steve Insminger was telling us, I get to think about the next series. Joe's thinking about what would be the great third down play.
Yeah. Here,
give me something, if we get a third down coming up, give me something good.
He talks about the process they go through every series. He says when this offense comes off the field, Joe talks to Coach Brady, and he gets ready for the next series. And then by the time they get ready, hey, Coach is ready to talk to Joe.
Well, time out on the field. Looks like our umpire took a tough tumble. We'll update it when we come back. Well, tonight after the Vandy Ole Miss game on our SEC Saturday night, it'll be SEC Now. We'll give you a complete wrap-up with highlights, analysis, and interviews from the day in college football. Be sure to join Dari, Coach Chiz, Chris Doring as they break it all down. They are so good at that. One of my favorite shows all year. No one covers the SEC like we do. You can also see it streaming live, of course, on the ESPN app. Those guys are awesome.
Yeah, they put in some good time, man.
How about Peter kind of sets the table, and Dari gets to come and eat the dessert, right?
No doubt.
There's now 10:46 remaining in the fourth quarter.
Having some clock issues. We'll try to keep you updated as much as we can. 10:46 to go here in the contest. On a first down and 10. Still a combination of Miles Brennan and Chris Curry. will hand it off to Curry, who dodges one man, breaks a tackle, stays on his feet, running hard. Finally brought down. His forward progress will get it to the 37-yard line. The redshirt freshman getting some work today. We've seen Ty Davis-Price, John Emery, Clyde Edwards-Helaire. Now, Leonard Fournette's younger brother, who has been playing here, the senior from New Orleans, who actually has his degree in hand, decided to step away from the football program this week. Just felt like it was time. And obviously, you start looking at the people in front of you, you might not get a whole lot of playing time. 13 carries on the year, did Fournette.
Look at this backfield. It's a crowded backfield with a lot of quality guys back there.
Let's get an update from Peter.
Curry carried the ball. Anderson made the stop.
All right, thank you, Dave Deal. Getting ready for another game coming up momentarily. That'll be the Missouri Tigers. That game kicking off at 4 p.m. in Eastern. Kelly Bryant, 19-3 as a starter, but used his legs last week. 77 yards rushing against the Gamecocks. We'll see if he can do that against Troy.
Thank you, Peter. As Curry gets that handoff and will pick up just a yard, so it'll be 4th down and short.
Brings up a 4th down.
LSU going to attempt a lengthy field goal. Ball sits just inside the 35, so they'll place it at the 43. 53-yard field goal attempt from Cade York. He hit it for 47 in the opener against Georgia Southern. Has yet to miss this season. And that one will miss wide left.
Kick is wide left. 1st down, Utah State.
Well, the SEC has a 99% chance with 5 unbeaten teams to put 1 team into the college football playoff. 2 teams, 60%, almost as good as the ACC has to put 1 in there.
Wow. I mean, it just speaks to how many quality teams are in each conference and where they're projected to finish. Now, obviously, you got 2 teams that are going to play each other, especially in the SEC, with those 5 unbeatens, as well as the Big Ten. But it just speaks volumes of how good the competition is in all these conferences.
Well, the Pac-12 just stuck in the mud right now in terms of that conference as a football league. Less than 10% chance to get a team into the college football playoff. Pick up of 3. I just think it's amazing that there's a 60% chance
to get 2 in, right?
Teams.
When it first started, when it first came out, everybody thought, 2 teams from the same conference, that would never happen. Now you got over a 50% chance, over a 60% chance to get 2 in from the SEC.
That one is off the arms of Scarver. That's the kind of day it's been offensively for Utah State. 15 yards rushing, 130 yards passing.
It's been tough slaying for Utah State in this ball game. I mean, they got some really talented players on both sides of the ball, but the lack of opportunities on offense has really hurt them. They had a lot of 3 and outs in this ball game, unable to run the football. It puts you in some very bad spots offensively for Utah State.
Utah State has scored 20 or more points in 21 straight games. That is the 3rd best streak in the FBS, only behind Oklahoma State and Ohio State. Jordan Love chased down, and he'll be out of bounds. See where they spot that around the 37-yard line. Ends up being a loss of a yard for Jordan Love, who has had better days. Just 15 of 30, 130 through the air with 3 interceptions. And those 3 interceptions, you start thinking, adding them up. He has 8 picks this year. He only had 6 interceptions a year ago with 32 touchdown passes. One of those picks by that guy right there, Derek Stingley. Fair catch by Stingley at the 25. LSU with the football when we come back. Coach O, his club out to a 42-6 lead here late in the fourth quarter. 7:39. The clock has been malfunctioning, but 7:39 left to play. Joe Burrow's day is done. He's turned it over to Miles Brennan. Miles, the sophomore out of Long Beach, Mississippi. You talk about a guy that's got a strong arm. My man can certainly spin it with the best of them.
Yeah, I watched him on practice on Thursday, and he can rip it as good as anybody like you just mentioned. And they give him opportunity to throw it. You'll see the arm strength that Miles Brennan possesses.
16 of 25 on the year for Miles, 207 yards. They'll keep it on the ground, try to chew up some of this clock. Gain of 3 on the play. So LSU will do what they needed to do. You know, after that off week, it's one of those, you never know how your team's going to respond to that.
Right.
I think that they spent a lot of time trying to figure out how we can get guys on the ground. Let's tackle better, especially on the back end. And I think we saw proof that extra work paid off today.
And Coach O even talked about they started every day with a drill they called a fit drill. And basically fitting in the run game, fitting in space, and trying to be able to tackle. And it looks like it's worked out pretty good today.
I'm anxious to hear Joe Burrow's comments after this game on his performance, because he was so good against Vanderbilt. 6 touchdown passes, almost 400 yards passing, and says, it wasn't so good.
Yeah, I mean, you can think back to some of the plays today. Yeah, he threw for a bunch of yards and had multiple touchdowns, but he's going to look at those plays he missed. A couple times rolling out, missing guys, a couple errant throws. The interception for one sticks out, throws a little bit high to Thaddeus Moss and gets it intercepted. Those are the plays he's going to look back and say, I got to get better on those plays.
There's Brennan trying to pick up the first down. He may have it just to get it to the 35, and let's see where they spot it. They're going to be just short, a few inches short, so it'll be 4th down and literally inches.
6 minutes on the game clock. 6 minutes on the game clock.
There you go. 6 minutes on the game clock, which will continue to run. LSU's going to punt. You got a 6'4" quarterback in there. Let him just get his nose out there.
I was thinking the same thing. Brennan is tall. He's a strong kid. You'd think they just maybe lean over and get that couple inches you need, but
maybe he needs some guys on defense to get some reps.
Yeah. It's always strategy to what they're trying to do.
Jordan Nathan, fair catch at the 10-yard line.
Utah State.
So the Aggies will have it after a 55-yard punt. Good to see Zach Von Rosenberg doing his thing after getting roughed on a punt here in the second half. I mean, Utah State last year, just to give you some perspective, offensively, they were putting up points at an alarming rate, 47.5 points per game, which was 2nd in the FBS. They had the 3rd best scoring margin last year as well, only behind Clemson and Alabama. But today, in 2019, not much happening for this offense against what was a stout LSU defense.
For Utah State, the one thing that they have to really harp on as the season progresses is turnovers. They had 4 turnovers versus Colorado State last week and were able to overcome it to get a win. You can't do that versus really good football teams. And today you've seen a few interceptions by this Utah State team and Jordan Love. And it's hard to overcome and get a win on the road versus a team like LSU when you turn the football over a few times.
There is Jordan Love. Now signaling in the plays to Henry Colombi, the sophomore out of Hollywood, Florida. Getting some work. He's 8 of 9 on the year, throwing the football. A couple of touchdowns for 93 yards. Throw it here. Well, Keyshawn Vaughn 2 weeks ago against this LSU defense went for 130 yards on 20 carries. Today, Utah State has put up 18 yards in the run game, 148 total yards on the day.
Goodness, Dave Aranda will be extremely happy about this performance from his group. And it's been multiple guys in certain spots doing it. And he talked to us the other day, just yesterday, about so many different players are playing different spots on this defense and trying to figure out the right combination of guys with so many guys that are injured. Now, they're hoping to get some guys back, but they were glad to get Caleb on chasing back. But he just said it's a mixture of injuries and just execution on this defense is why they haven't played the style in which they wanted to.
Again, our game clock has been broken. We are just a tick under 4 minutes to play in this game. Inside handoff goes to Enoch Nawahine. The true freshman out of Hawaii.
I thought it was a great story that Coach Aranda talked about with Coach Gary Anderson, the head coach of Utah, giving him an opportunity to come and be the defensive coordinator there right after he was fired from Hawaii and not knowing where he was going to be coaching next. And he said Coach Anderson called him and said, hey, we want to bring you in for an interview. And the rest is history. So he said he is one of the best people that he's ever known.
Yeah, man, you know, he was living in a campus apartment, was Dave Aranda, and when he lost his job, he said they were asked, he got 15 days to move out. He's like, my whole world was turned upside down. I didn't know where I was going, what I was doing, and out of nowhere, he gets the call from Gary Anderson, who he had met a few times at some camps in Hawaii. And he said he broke down in tears. It was such an emotional, like somebody knew I existed. I'm on this island. A time change makes it hard to contact anybody. And those two had a nice relationship, working relationship, and it has certainly continued on, even though they're on opposite sidelines. But Dave Aranda owes a lot to Gary on the other side of the field. For more, let's go down to Dawn.
Dave, I actually asked Coach Anderson about that phone call before this game. He smiled when I mentioned it, and I asked him if he knew how emotional Coach Aranda was during that phone call. He said, oh, come on, you know Coach Aranda. He never let on that he was emotional during that call, but he followed it up with, that is a special guy who is a great family man. Coach Anderson said so much respect for him, so that's a mutual thing between the two of them.
Yeah, those two great working relationship over the years, and boy, Dave Aranda certainly considered one of the premier coordinators in the entire country, and that week off has benefited his group here today. That handoff goes to Ty Davis-Price.
Davis-Price carried the ball.
Out to the eye of the Tiger.
Lockett made the stop. First down for the Tigers.
Up over 600 yards now of offense for LSU today. So they have surpassed their season average, which was at 563. Third in the country. But they're not going to catch their point average, which was leading the country at 57.8.
I think the more impressive thing today, they were able to run the football. That's a point of emphasis. They wanted it coming into this ball game where you have to create a line of scrimmage change. And today they created it at times, and the numbers show you they wanted to run the football and be effective doing it.
Well, they might have just lost a yard. See how they score that, because they're sitting right at 600.
So you drop back under 600 now.
There was a running back for the Atlanta Falcons back in the 70s named Dave Hampton, who was chasing a 1,000-yard season. Remember, it was the old 14-game season, so 1,000 yards was a big deal.
No doubt.
He had like 1,004 and had back-to-back carries and lost the yardage and finished the year with like 994.
That is terrible.
Yeah.
That is awful.
The things you remember as a kid, right? I mean, where does that come from? That's just what? Ty Davis-Price should have enough for the first down. And the clock will continue to run.
33 seconds. No snap needed.
I think that message from our referee, no snap. He's looking right at Ed Ogeron. No snap needed. You guys are good. Call it a day. Ed Ogeron will pick up the win. His team will go to 5-0 on the year. And now they can set their sights on a night game here at Tiger Stadium in Death Valley against the Florida Gators next Saturday night. The stretch begins in earnest a week from today. And then, of course, a lot of folks looking at that November 9th date against the Alabama Crimson Tide. But a good day statistically for this LSU team. 601 yards of offense. They hold a high-powered offense to 159. So I think when you add up all the totals, this is a good day for LSU.
Very good day, and thought you went out and did things that you haven't done in the last few weeks, which was on defense tackle and on offense run the football. And it sounds so simple, but those are the keys to winning ball games. And we talked about that stretch they're going to go through. You better be able to tackle in space, but you also have to be able to run the football in the Southeastern Conference, and LSU put some good things on tape.
Let's go down to Dawn.
TJ Shockley just saying up in the booth, you got to be able to run the football in the Southeastern Conference. That was a focus for you guys this week. What did you see out of your run game?
It was great to see all those young backs making some strides. I thought we did a very good job of running the football and controlling the clock, exactly the game plan.
On the other side of the ball, we always talk about offense, but you challenged your defense this week, and they certainly answered your call. What'd you like from them?
Proud of them. They didn't get in the end zone. We tackled well. We kept the ball in front. We rushed the passer well. We looked like an LSU defense today.
Do you think this was the most complete game you've seen out of your team?
No question. I think we could have been a little bit better on special teams. We missed a field goal. We had a couple of mishaps on special teams, but offensive and defense, we played really well.
Now you're about to head into the gauntlet of what is the SEC schedule. What do you take from this game as you look ahead to Florida next week?
You know, the competition is going to be a little bit stiffer next Saturday night at 7 o'clock. This place is going to be live. This is why you come to LSU.
At least it'll be cooler, right, Coach?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. Congratulations.
Thank you, ma'am. Go Tigers.
That's great hanging out with him this week. He is something else, man. Good win for LSU today. They put it on Utah State. 42-6 is our final score. For DJ and Dawn, the rest of our crew, I'm Dave Neal saying so long from Baton Rouge. SEC Now is coming up next.